What's up, world? How we doing? No doubt. Today we're talking about The Expanse. This is a must-watch. So The Expanse, this is the final season, season 6. And for those who may not know, this is a definite watch. You need to go watch this. People kept trying to convince me for like the longest. Hey, you need to go watch this. This show is great. And I was like, all right, whatever. When I got into it, I promise you, if you like space or any of that stuff, this is definitely worth your time. They just wrapped up. Actually, they just finished season 6, which is the series finale. They're not doing anymore, but bravo to this show. This is a hell of a job and a hell of a journey. This is a fantastic show. So, if you don't know, I'll just give you like the quick rundown. There is we're at kind of like the tipping point between Earth, Mars, and like the Belters. They're all struggling for power, to have a say in what goes on amongst trading and things of that nature. And the Belters are kind of like, they kind of get the shaft. They work for Mars. They don't really have a say. They're just kind of like the slave force or whatever, but they want a seat at the table so that they can make some of these decisions. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. There is there's kind of a rogue fashion. They were once part of the Earth's effort. You know, they were part of another ship, which name escapes me right now. So the story follows a few particular individuals. Stephen Strait, who is James Holden, who is the captain of a new ship called the Rosinante, which is freaking phenomenal ship, or Rosi for short. Dominic Tripper as Naomi Nagata. Carrie Gee Carrie Gee as Kamina Drummer, who is the baddest bitch in the galaxy. Woo! Frankie Adams is Roberta Draper, second baddest broad in the galaxy. And Wes Chatham, Amos, who is my favorite character, because Amos don't give a damn. So, I'll go into a few more characters as we get there. I don't want to rehash the whole history because it'll take too long. There's a lot of politics or whatever. I'm just going to rehash season 6. I just wanted to give you like a basic backdrop of what it is we're dealing with and what the show is about in case you were interested in watching. So this series is set around the final chapter of what is going on between Marko and Aris. He is currently he is basically sick of the Belters having nothing. And instead of trying to find a seat at the table to share it with everyone, he wants the whole pie for himself. He doesn't want Belters to have to deal with anyone. He just wants to destroy everybody and take it all for the Belters. And I kind of understand, where he's at, considering that they've been treated poorly for so long. I can see how a person like that would be, forced into doing something like that. But he also has a son his son's name is Philip. Philip and Philip is the son of Marko and Naomi Nagata. She is trying to get him back, or she was in the earlier episodes trying to get him back, get him away from her father. She didn't want him to get caught up in his mess. She didn't want him to die because of his beliefs, and she's trying to convince him that there's a way of doing this without genocide. And he is so blinded by the fact that she left him and her father, that he's not willing to listen to anything other than his father at the time. So Marko's destroying people. He's sending asteroids and other space debris towards Earth, killing people, and everyone has to band together. And that's when kind of the war starts. When you start to kind of see, people ramping up, getting ready for war. Earthers and Belters having to work together to stop Marko. Watching Drema have to deal with Christian, She's basically um, the head politician on Earth. I don't know if she's not president or anything like that, but she basically runs the show as far as defense and anything else that comes to question. I don't know. She could be. She was acting kind of presidential. So maybe she is. I'm not as keyed in as most of you on this show. I just know that I love this show, and I wish it wasn't ending. We got Cass, who was the pilot, who is a straight douchebag, who can't keep his hands to himself. Nah, I shouldn't say that. He it was said he kind of sexually harassed a few people on the set, so they they gave him an unceremonious death. And I say good riddance. Of course, I wasn't really buying his character anyway. He had that stupid cowboy act, that dumb cowboy accent. I wasn't really buying that. Moving on from him. Nadine Cole, who was Melba, she was a friend to Amos. I loved her character. I loved everything about this. What hooked me about this show is that they didn't use like Star Trek technology or any of that ridiculous shit. Like they had a reason, and they had plausible technology to use in certain situations. Like they had gravity boots. Then they went so far in the earlier episodes and in the earlier seasons to show you how exactly they worked, and they showed you how they worked, and you could hear them at all times. You knew when they were on, and there was no walking around in areas that, sealing off bays that didn't have, that weren't, that didn't have force fields or any of that mess. Like, you got caught in space, you were dead. You better have a suit on. And I really appreciated that. And they didn't just keep anybody alive just to keep them alive. Like, it didn't matter what kind of character you were or how much of a role you played in this show, you could die. And I think that hooked me from the beginning. And I feel like that is an important aspect to shows to keep you involved. Shows like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, those shows implemented this new thing where it didn't matter if you were a star. It didn't matter how long you had been on the show. You could die. And I think that increased the overall intensity, because you were actually worried for these characters now. Like, please don't die. I don't want you to die. And I think that was abundantly clear in the way that they set this up. Naomi Nagata did what she had to do to save not only Belters, but everyone. Mars, Earth, everyone. And she felt that she was just in doing what she had to do. She tried to talk to Marko and change his mind, tell him there's a better way. She tried to talk to his son and to her son and tell him that there was a better way. And they didn't want to listen. So she sacrificed her own son to save everyone else. And I thought that was powerful. She was the one who had to hit the button that, ended her son's life, or so she believes. I was not a fan of that. Later they show her son Philip finally figures out that his dad's a piece of shit and escapes in essentially a lifeboat for a spacecraft. And he gets away. They don't show him reigniting with his mother. They don't show you what happens to him at all. And I gotta say, I didn't really like that ending. Marko gets what he deserves. He dies a pretty ridiculous death. I think his death warranted better. I think it would have been better to watch him struggle, having been spaced. Since he spaced so many people, I felt that was more of a fitting end for Marko. But still satisfying that he was killed. So that was cool. I thought that they should have killed Philip. I think that Philip made his bed. He believed in his father. He had, you watched everyone go round and round with Philip, just constantly just berating him with being an asshole. His dad his dad just constantly trying to ram home the fact, hey, you asshole like me. This time you got on board and started killing people. And I just feel like, I mean, he killed his best friend for no reason. Cause I didn't like this kid, man. I don't think he was worth saving. I think you should have just went on ahead and killed him, and just let that be that. Let Naomi feel it, and let that have been that. I do not like the fact that they saved Philip. So, I mean, it's neither here nor there. It's still a good show. It doesn't take away from it any. I just think that it would have sent more of a powerful message had he been killed. And now he's just out there in space. Like, you, what happened to this kid, man? Like, is he gonna go find his parents? Is he just gonna start a life somewhere else without saying what's up to mom, or is he still mad at her? Like, I feel like you can't be mad at your mom at this point. Like, she saved literally everybody. There's a belter at the head of the table that your mom helped create by killing your dumbass dad. And I feel like you can't be mad at your mom, really. I wish they would bring this back for season 7. They're not going to, but I really wish they would. Now I'm going to my favorite characters. Kamina Drummer, I loved her character. She hardly showed any emotion in any decision that she made, but if you needed her, son, she would go to war for you in a minute, and especially for her people. She was all about war. It did not matter how many numbers she faced, or what kind of pain she was in, or if she could possibly die. She was, I'm in. Let's go. And I love that about her. She was just awesome to watch. She would kick your ass and laugh at you in a minute. Amos. Amos, I think, was my favorite character because Amos was loyal. He loved Naomi, Nagata, but like a sister. He would do anything for her. He had friends that he really cared about. Amos really liked Holden. They came to like each other. At first, that wasn't the case. He just told him that he would space him or kill him if he had to. But he did it with such a straight face. It was like he was asking for coffee. But as the seasons went on, you got to understand more about Amos, and I really loved his character. The Rosi, the way that they set that whole thing up, the way that they used bullets instead of lasers, rockets in space, the way that they used tactics, it was a little hard to see at times, especially the way that they shot it. Like, it was hard to keep track of the way this ship was flying, but you would see that they had to use air in order to change direction, or they had to flip the ship around completely in order to slow themselves down. And I appreciated all of that. Like, you don't see that in any of these shows anymore at all. It's just rocket thrusters and all that stuff. So that was something that I thought was really cool. If you get a moment to check out this show, I mean, I'm leaving so much out. I just wanted to give you like a broad overlook as to what this show looked like and how good this show was. And if you can make it through the beginning, if you can make it halfway through the first season, it is completely worth it. Like, the first half is a little boring, but so is Game of Thrones, because they had to introduce everybody and, figure out what they were doing and all that stuff. And if you can get through that, this show is definitely worth it. So if you've seen it, let me know what you think. I absolutely love this, and if you have any recommendations, I'd like to hear them, because I'm out of shit to watch, clearly. And yeah, that's gonna do it, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and y'all be easy, stay safe. All right.